Hi, this is Dominic Keating. I played Lieutenant Malcolm Reed on Enterprise, as you probably know, and you are listening to the NX 7062 podcast.
And welcome to the NX transmissions from the NX 7062. I know I say this every week. Every week I say I need to fix that, and every week I freaking just forget because I know what I want to do. It's just going to be like a very long process. Actually, Magic Lasso helped me figure out exactly what I wanted to do. For the new intro, it's gonna take a minute, and I just haven't had the chance to sit down and do it. And to answer Casbar's question, the cute little doggo is doing great. In fact, he's here-ish. Oh, he's laying down in his bed. Okay. Because I had this. Hi, Nancy. This is what happened, in case you guys want to know. I hope there's nobody too squeamish out there. I had a bone spur on the top of my big toe, and it was under the nail. So it hurt constantly because there was always something pressing on it. I couldn't wear I was wearing one pair of sneakers that had a lot of room and didn't hit my toe, or flip-flops. That was it. So in order to fix it, the only way to fix a bone spur is to literally really open it up and remove it. But in order to do that, they had to take my whole nail off. So today was the first day that I've been comfortable with my feet not elevated. So since I've had El Doggo, he and I have been working. I work from home as a travel agent. So I was downstairs on my laptop. So Doggo got really spoiled having me downstairs. So today was the first day we had to do the office. So when I adopted him, oh my God, they're called Out of the Woods. They're this fantastic shelter one town over from me. Yeah, exactly. Holy ouchies is a good way to put it. When I adopted him, I got a dog bed and snacks and treats and enough food so that I could switch him from what they were feeding him to what I wanted to start feeding him. They were amazing. So he even came with this little dog bed, which has been downstairs in my den the whole time. But if he's got a choice between a bed or mom, he picks me every time. Well, as you saw last week, he was sitting on my lap, and he did okay, but couldn't work with him on my lap. So I had brought the bed up here, and now he's doing the bed thing, aren't you, LeBeau? So he's just kind of chilling out in the bed. He knows I'm here. I don't know if I can coax him into getting up and saying hi. If I can, I will. But he's just comfy on the bed. So this is our office routine. He's an amazing office mate. He is what they call a Velcro dog, which makes sense because he can't see. So he's a Velcro dog, and I love that about him because I always know that he's not too far away. It's still a little with the cats, but thank you for asking because he's doing really well, and I just absolutely adore him. And hey, Chris, good to have you. He's been incredible while I've been recuperating. So, in fact, I couldn't drive for a week because the bandage on my toe was so big, and of course, it has to be my right foot. So we were kind of cooped up together for a while. But I got the bandages off last Tuesday, just started kind of walking around. Hey, Jean-Malo, good to see you. So I just got the bandages off on Tuesday, and I've been taking it kind of easy last Tuesday, obviously. But we went to the movies. I went to the movies with my family on Saturday, and we saw Captain America: Brave New World. And it was good. Of course, I always talk to Magic Lasso about the Marvel stuff and anything comic book related. So he had said that there had been mixed feelings about it. So after I saw it on Saturday, I called him, no spoilers, but I said I liked it. And he said the people that read the comics, who know the story, who are aware of the comics and the history, liked it. The people who are just into the MCU from the movie standpoint, MCU, Marvel Cinematic Universe, but people who just do the MCU, they didn't like it. So, yeah, exactly, Dave. But that's what Lasso was saying. It's like you can almost split it between the people that liked it and the people that understand the comic book and the history and are Marvel fans, well-rounded Marvel fans, and the people that didn't like it tend to be the people that are just into the MCU and have no concept of the backstory and the storyline. I liked it. I thought it was fantastic. I love Anthony Mackie as the new Captain America. I don't want to spoil anything because there were some really kind of cool things that I noticed during the movie that really impressed me. About they brought some new stuff into the MCU. Well, not new stuff. They definitely go see it. I mean, I know you've been educating yourself. You've been hanging out with Fanboys Live and everything. So hopefully you've got that comic book sense too. There were some things, if you were paying attention and you've seen basically everything in the MCU, there's going to be little things that you get to pick up on where you're like, oh, that is so cool. My only real, and I don't even want to call it a complaint, I guess more of a disappointment, is the lack of cameos. Usually the Marvel movies have, a bunch of people popping up. There were less people popping up. So I was a little disappointed with that, but it was still really, really good. Saw 2 previews for the other Marvel stuff that's coming out. The new Fantastic Four, Third Time's a Charm. Although I did like the first 2. I watched the third one, even though Lasso's supposed to be here. I don't know where Lasso is right now. There was supposed to be a third one. Or the third one that was terrible. Lasso told me not to see it and then got mad at me because I saw it. I'm like, but it was a train wreck. I needed to see how bad the train wreck was. It was terrible. So I'm not 100% sure how I feel about the new Fantastic Four movie, although I do like Pedro Pascal. But he's jumping all over the place. Look at it this way. He is Pedro Pascal. He is the Mandalorian. He played the bad guy in Wonder Woman 84, and now he's going to be in the Fantastic Four. He's competing with Harrison Ford, who was Indiana Jones, Han Solo, and now has a place in Marvel. So the two of them are kind of like Star Wars, like, I don't know, they're trying to out-franchise each other, I guess. But if I have to pick between the two, I'm going to go old school and pick Harrison every time. What's the other? And there was another one, Thunderbolts, which has the Winter Soldier leading a team of misfit, like anti-Avengers kind of thing, and it looks really fun. So, oh my god! And the Karate Kid movie, which is bringing back Ralph Macchio and teaming in with Jackie Chan, looks amazing. I just finished Cobra Kai. I binge watched the last episodes of Cobra Kai yesterday, so I'm ready for the Ralph Macchio movie. So I'm hoping some of it at least goes back into Cobra Kai, and they're not going to deny that we've had technically 6 seasons of Cobra Kai. So I'm really looking forward to that. But of course, once again, by the time the movie starts, it's what the heck. Okay, I think Trip just locked himself in my bathroom downstairs. If he did, he'll live until this is over. He pushes the door open if it's not closed all the way, walks in, and then he knows how to shut a door, and then he locks himself in, and then he complains. Sorry, Trip. You would think an engineer would learn from his mistakes. So that's really all the pre-show stuff I had. I just really wanted to talk about the MCU, and not spoil. Oh, and there is one post-scene credit, and it is all the way at the end. So you might actually, depending on what size bladder you have, you might actually be able to run out, go to the bathroom, and come back before the post-scene credit, because there's no middle one. There's just the one. All right, so here we are, and what are we talking about tonight? We're talking about doctors, our favorite doctors, because I love the doctor that did the procedure on my foot, and he actually may end up having to do another procedure. I'm going for an MRI this weekend. You have to use, to keep them, I got it. See, I just always keep those doors closed because I just don't want them in there. So it's just, I have to be more cognizant of how I pull the door closed. Because, if it's just not seated right, they can push it open. So this is all about, like I said, it's all about favorite doctors. So I don't like the fact that X only gives you 4 polls. Like if you want to do a poll, you have to okay, brain freeze. Sorry. So I had to split my poll up between the first 4 doctors I put in it and then the last 4 doctors. Nobody voted for Kugler. Nobody voted for Discovery's doctor as their favorite doctor. I love him. I absolutely love him. So he's not my favorite, but I feel bad. He didn't get a vote, and Pulaski didn't get a vote. I don't have any pets. I was actually just chatting with Ed Milner tonight. He's on the Star Trek crew, so I doubt he's going to be here. But yeah, he doesn't have any pets either because he travels so much. I can't help it. I love living alone with just 4-legged roommates. I've had the 2-legged roommates. I prefer the 4-legged roommates. So Pulaski didn't get, and I realized I spelled her name wrong. Don't care. Pulaski didn't get any votes either. That makes me happy. But between the top 4, McCoy, Crusher, Bashir, and the doctor, I got 4 votes. One for each of them. Everybody got 1 vote. 6 people voted. And all but Kubler and Pulaski got a vote. This is so funny. Phlox got a vote, but Phlox gets 2 votes because he's my favorite. And Mabenga actually got a vote, which I thought was very cool considering, we haven't gotten to know him all that well yet from Strange New Worlds. But, I mean, let's go in order. Dr. McCoy, the OG, the cranky, not so much bedside manner, kind of country doctor attitude. He was the OG. And that attitude, it was very for the time, and it fit with that, McCoy, Spock, Kirk triangle. It fit well. His attitude made for some really great interactions with Spock. It was good. It was just good television to watch them go at it. Just his attitude was fantastic. You almost expected him to be smoking a cigarette half the time that he said things, because it was so a product of the times. It's like he was a good doctor, but he was a character. And then we move on to Crusher, which was was amazing because it was only the second ideation of Star Trek, and we've got a female doctor. But now we've got a female doctor, and we get to watch her do her. She's a widow, she's a single mom, and she's a doctor. It was like, I can bring home the bacon and fry it up in a pan kind of thing, and she was compassionate. She was everything that you would expect from an intelligent female doctor of the future. Plus, she was in love. She and Picard were in love with each other, so we had 7 years of will they, won't they. Which was interesting. I thought that added just another level of complexity. We love McCoy, but McCoy didn't have all of the levels that Crusher did. But of course, they didn't delve into personal lives and backstories as much with the original as they did with TNG. So, yep, the dancing doctor that turned out to be such a badass. Absolutely. That's a great way to put it. She had so many facets. And that's one of the things that we could love about her, is she was such a 3-dimensional character. And like I said, and she brought that compassion that McCoy didn't have. But then we get stuck with Pulaski in the second season, and they were trying to make lightning strike twice. They wanted more of a McCoy-esque personality, somebody that could just, rub up against the captain and rub everybody the wrong way. From the moment she walked on board, data, what's the difference? I didn't like her. Nobody liked her. She didn't last. She was just annoying from the get, and she didn't resonate. Exactly. Bones was our country doctor. That's it. We didn't need another one. We absolutely didn't need another one. And we didn't need another crotchety doctor. And we definitely didn't need Pulaski. But, there was, we all know that there was just a problem that Gates McFadden and the creators in Paramount had. And She got replaced, and then they realized the errors of the ways, and they asked they wouldn't even go to her. They asked Patrick Stewart to go to her and ask her to come back. Exactly. One is my name, one is not. It's probably one of my favorite lines. One is my name. One I really wanted Moriarty to keep her. I swear to God. And I know I've said this before. In fact, I showed it on the show. Her character on LA Law fell down an elevator shaft. Now, if only that had happened on the Enterprise. And I think I've told this story before. Nobody liked her. The whole let's try a McCoy-esque thing was failing miserably. I was at a creation event in New York City between seasons 2 and 3 when they announced that Gates McFadden was returning, and the room just erupted in cheers when they announced it, and for good reason. She's fantastic. You can't really there is no other doctor for that Enterprise. And then we move on to Dr. Bashir, the genetically altered Dr. Bashir, who would not be a doctor except for his parents' a legal maneuver to mess with his DNA so that he could be the doctor they always wanted. And he was a brilliant doctor, and he just sucked everywhere else. He was adorable because he's just the crush on Jadzia, the awkwardness around just about everybody until he and Miles got their bromance. But the doctor never really was the focal point the way McCoy was. You never really had a doctor as a focal point the way McCoy was, because he was in the top 3. Which I'm glad they never tried to recreate that, because again, you can't get lightning to strike twice. So they kind of went more with these one-on these couplings, I guess you could call it. Well, that's because you weren't at the creation event that happened in New York City over the summer between 2 and 3. That's how I found out. I don't know if they ever announced it anywhere except within the Star Trek community, but that's how I found out. It was amazing. Absolutely. And I actually did get to tell Gates that story. With Bones so far as bedside manner from Friday's Child. Friday's Child was first of all, one of my favorites. God damn it, Lasso's missing all this. The only thing I've had with Bones so far is bedside manner. Friday's Child was a product of the time, and B, I don't know what they were trying to say, but the reason I'm pissed that Lasso's not here is because, for anybody that doesn't know, Friday's Child had Julie Newmar, aka Catwoman, as their guest star, the woman that was pregnant that McCoy slapped. Go figure, it was the 60s once again. I haven't watched that episode in a while, though. I need to sit down and rewatch it. She was McCoy. She always called him McCoy. That I remember, but I love Julie Newmar. I met her too. Had to throw that out there because, oh my God, she was so lovely. So lovely. Like, totally, like, just, she's amazing. All right, Julie Newmar story. Creation, back before they became like the Star Trek convention, they did used to have a Star Trek centric convention in New York, but they used to have, like they're doing now with Vegas, they have like 1 or 2 other franchises join them. So when the original Michael Keaton Batman movie came out, they decided to get Burt Ward and Julie Newmar to come out for this New York event, which was fantastic because I got to meet Burt Ward. He was like my first TV crush, him and Davy Jones. Anyway, so Julie was up on stage for her. She and Burt had a dual Q&A, and she came out, and people are raising their hands, and somebody in the audience was deaf, and I guess their interpreter raised their hand, and the minute that Julie Newmar realized that the person that wanted to ask the question was deaf, she invited them to come up to stand in front of the stage. She spoke sign language. And they got to ask her the question directly. She interpreted it for the audience and then responded by speaking and signing so that the person that asked the question could understand the answer. I thought that was absolutely fantastic. That was amazing. That was the first time I ever saw Julie Newmar, and that stayed with me and we all know how long ago the original Michael Keaton movie came out. So go figure. But yeah, so Bashir was genetically engineered, which he shouldn't have been. He held a secret. And it was just so funny because it's like he was a fantastic doctor and had no confidence in any other area, which I guess just goes to show that, I guess they were trying to say, you can make somebody super smart, you can mess with their DNA, but they're still not gonna, be perfect. You know, he was a fantastic doctor and just kind of lacking in all the other social graces. But he and O'Brien, once they had their relationship, then I think he did get a little more secure. I'm expecting to see you guys pop up, by the way, in these chats, letting me know who your favorite doctors are. Of course, then we have the EMT, the doctor, please state the nature of your medical emergency, the Pinocchio of the doctors, because he is the boy that wanted to be human. And again, just showing that being it's just another great example of being a doctor isn't just about skill and knowledge. Because behind every broken bone, disease, challenge, surgery, there's a human being. And interacting with the human being is sometimes more important than the illness itself. Being able to be on that level with your patient can be more important than just diagnosing their illnesses. And obviously for a medical emergency, medical emergency, yeah, he's perfect. Call him up, because in a medical emergency, you don't give a shit. In a medical emergency, it's like medics in a battlefield. Okay, Janine, that's fair. For some people, it's too hard. I can still hear Trip meowing, and he's just gonna have to wait. His fault. Because he's smart. You would figure he'd figure out. There we go. There we go. Got to be Crusher from EMH is kind of a close second. I lean towards OG as my second choice. I think you guys all know what my first choice is, but OG's my second choice. But yeah, it's like triage. That's what I was saying, because you know me, I watch a lot of MASH. It's like the medics in the field. That's what the EMT is. That's what he's supposed to be there for. This isn't about bedside manner per se. This is about, you have a medical emergency, you need me, and you need me just to fix this problem. He wasn't ever meant to be online for as long as he was. So that's where we all got to find out, he got that Pinocchio complex. He wanted to grow and he wanted to become more human. So that was incredibly interesting character development. And to watch him for 7 years try to find himself and see if he could go beyond programming in a lot of the same ways that Data was trying to get beyond his own programming. Then, of course, there's Chris. Crusher, Phlox, and Bones. I would put Crusher in my top 3. I think for me it would be Phlox, Bones, Crusher. Phlox has to be my favorite. Ooh, let's see. Dave says, hard for me. Crusher is tops. Mbenga with Chapel as a duo, and as another he is second, maybe because of his wartime backstory. No Enterprise love, Dave. I'm disappointed, but that's I'll give him Mbenga. He's an incredibly interesting character. Can't wait to see where he goes. But Phlox, I thought, was perfection. You're going out on your first Warp 5. You are going out into the cosmos, where no one has gone before. Take an alien doctor with you that has seen other species, because this is how you can help. Like, how many times was Dr. Phlox called upon to help, and he understood alien anatomy. And okay, Crusher. Well, you know what? You said Mbenga and Chapel, and somehow I read that as 3, because don't forget, Chapel does get promoted. Chapel does become a doctor by the motion picture. Don't forget, she is a doctor. So, but I got you. Hurry up with that third one. Dave, hurry up with that third one. Okay. But you want to take somebody that has more of a knowledge than just human anatomy. Yes, Dr. Flox had a boss lab. It's like it's so funny because he is an alien doctor who is supposed to be light years ahead in medical sciences, and he's got bats for their droppings and, and but he does have creatures that can create new trips. But it's just so amazing that he's advanced, but he still basically has a little zoo in his, because he recognizes not just the modern quote unquote medicine, but the advantages of older, things like the enzymes that are perfect for healing and giving, and sealing wounds with sucky creatures. And all of this is escaping me right now. But Annie can do the puffer fish. Thing. And optimism. And it was just so fun to watch the Denobulan doctor on the bridge of the Enterprise. He wasn't ever on the bridge, on the ship. But the other thing that was really interesting about him, that I thought was really interesting, is there was that one episode. It was the one where the guy refused to be treated by a Denobulan, and Phlox is like, okay, I'm not going to treat him. Non-leash treatments. Okay, Chris, that's fair. I just find that really interesting. But it might have been the episode with the alien that refused to be treated, and they're like, well, what about your oath? And Phlox is like, I don't have a Hippocratic oath. I'm not human. We have an oath, but it's not like the do no harm. It's not your Hippocratic oath. It is not. I am not a human doctor. I took different oaths. I have a different way when it comes to who I treat and how I treat them. And I always thought that was a really interesting point to be made. Healer. I mean, look, the Klingons kidnapped him because, and Klingons look down on their healers. It's just really interesting because you got to see a bunch of different doctors from different species. Affliction, that 4-season episode was really good. The Section 31 thing, but really meeting a Klingon doctor was pretty cool too. He does show up in some of the novels, but I love, Enterprise is my favorite. And yes, am I a little biased because it's John? Yes, but Phlox is still my numero uno. Speaking of which, John Billingsley, because I talked to him, Trek Long Island. Don't forget, guys, I still have some free passes too. Anybody interested in going to Trek Long Island? It is May 30th, 31st, and June 1st. It's a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday on Long Island. It's not too far outside of the city, so you can land at JFK and easy breezy to get up there. But John and Bonnie are both good. Not Bonnie Gordon, Bonnie, John's wife. I'm not even going to attempt her last name at this point because I'm going to be practicing it all weekend with them when we're in Long Island together. But John's gonna be in Trek Long Island along with some other absolutely amazing guests, and their guest list isn't quite done yet. I think they're still working on a couple of things. So if you want to go and you want to save yourself some bucks, send me a direct message and let me know that you want a pass, because I had some to give out in Vegas and I didn't give them all out. So I still have a handful. So I'm more than happy to give out a few more, because it is just such a great convention. It is in a Hyatt. It's all in the hotel. They better have wings this year. Their wings are really good. It's all in the hotel, and the hotel is great. In fact, the elevator, unlike Las Vegas, if you'd want to take the elevator from your room all the way down to the convention floor is in the basement. You could just go straight down. So it's great. It's great. I love it. This is their third year and my third year going. So, all right. What does Dave have to say? Back to M'Benga, who we're coming up on in a couple of minutes. I consider them a duo in SNW. Yep, I'll roll Phlox in as number 2 for the Frontier Medicine. Excellent. M'Benga number 3, Bones TOS number 4. Oh my God, I completely forgot about Tayan, number 5, Bashir. Thank you. I forgot about Tayan. I did see, that's how you do a Bones character. You make her a cat. I completely forgot about Taeyeon. You make her a cat. And then Bob's your uncle. You've got a Bones Lake character that works. Coogler, who definitely deserved a vote at least because he was, of course, which has nothing to do with being a doctor, but he was part of the first gay couple in Star Trek. They were two science guys, Stamets and Coogler. It was so cute to just watch them as a couple. And you want to talk compassion, you want to talk empathy, you want to talk just practicing with love. Coogler, just the way he spoke, the way he handled himself. Just everything about Coogler just spoke that kind of like doctor that you want to have by your bedside when you're going through a horrible time. You just want that warmth and oh my God, that smile. Does not hurt that he is one handsome man. I got to hug him in Vegas. Oof, those muscles. He's gorgeous, and he's just exactly the kind of thing that you have in your head when you just want, and when you're not feeling good, that's the doctor you want treating you. Oh, congratulations, Chris. Chris got his deposit down on the 2026 cruise. Congratulations. It is going to be awesome. Yeah, exactly. Okay, he's just not sure where to put him. Oh, you're spoiled for choices, Dave. He is ripped AF. I told him when I saw him that his chest, I forget the t-shirt. It was like Resist or something along those lines. But I told him his t-shirt, his chest is like the perfect billboard. His chest is apt because it's out. And I said something like, that's a perfect place to advertise or something like that. He really appreciated that. But where my booth was at STLV was literally, they put him on the corner across from me. I got to stare at him. And he was working with a handler I knew. So that gave me just major excuses to go over and be in his presence because I needed to talk to the woman that was working as his handler. So yeah, wouldn't mind a repeat of that. But yeah, there's just something about Coogler and just his gentility. He's got wisdom. He's got wisdom and gentility. He is just the perfect doctor package, rolled up in one. Dr. Kill, like, oh my God. Okay, I feel terrible. Richard Chamberlain, that's who it was. Richard Chamberlain just popped into my head. Dr. Kildare. He is like the modern day version. I love I love Richard Chamberlain ever since I watched him in the Thornbirds. And he does a really cute episode of Will and Grace that you should all look up. If you like Richard Chamberlain, you should all look that up. And now we get to M'Benga. And in my notes, you kind of spoiled this. You kind of spoiled this, Dave, but I called him the War Doctor. I called him the War Doctor because that's what he was. And any Doctor Who fans out there know exactly why I'm laughing. But he's definitely the War Doctor. He kind of bends his rules a little bit. That enhancement drug that saved him in Chapel. He and Chapel, I agree with you, Dave, 110%. He and Chapel make a fantastic team. And I love this new Chapel. I think she's fantastic. Yeah, I don't know who Uncle Hairball's talking to. Probably me. But anyway, it's my show. So if I want to get some vapors over Coogler, it's fine. It's fine. I don't care what team he plays for. Doesn't matter. You can appreciate a hot looking person, right, Dave? Or anybody out there. Doesn't matter what team they play for. You can just appreciate a good looking man or woman regardless. That's how I look at it. But the War Doctor. Yeah, I love it. I love that we're getting to learn about the pre-Kirk cruise. He bends the rules. I mean, he bent the rules to save his child. That whole thing was absolutely beautifully done. He's not so hard on the eyes either. And his accent, I love his accent. I'm an accent girl. I love his accent. Again, something I wouldn't mind listening to when you're telling me that, what's wrong with me. Exactly. It's a good thing it's a little chilly in my office right now while I'm broadcasting. That's all I can say, Dave. LeBeau? LeBeau, you want to come here? I'll lift it up. Hi! Hold on a second, guys. LeBeau, you want to come up? You want ups? You want ups? Come on, you want ups? Oh, not even going to wait for you to ask. Here he is. Here he is. Here's the puppy. Everybody's been asking about you, so I'm putting you on camera. You've been on camera twice. I've had Vader since the end of October, and he's only comes across. Yes, that is very true too, and that is so important. PTSD and trauma. Yeah, exactly. And I think the other thing that's important to learn is that it doesn't about PTSD. And I think one of the things that it teaches all of us is it doesn't matter how well you understand it. You're a doctor and you have PTSD. It doesn't matter. Oh, thanks, Casbah. It doesn't matter how clinically you understand what's going on in your head. Hi. Because it's still going to affect you the exact same way that it affects somebody else. I know his face keeps going in and out because of the background. I know. Are you going to lie down? You going to lie down, bub? I told him earlier when we were doing this, he couldn't get on the desk, so he knows he kind of has to sit. Yes, my little French bulldog. Hey, le beau. Hey, le beau. Qu'est-ce que c'est? Qu'est-ce que c'est le problème? Qu'est-ce que c'est le problème? I'm teaching him French. I'm teaching him certain commands in French. Which, you know what's really funny? I actually read somewhere that it is good to teach your dog certain commands with non-common words so that other people can't control your dog. I thought that was really interesting. Like, obviously, I doubt some French words are a little harder. Like sit doesn't work very well in French as easily in French as it does in English. But stay could be rest. So stay works. Yeah, exactly. Don't worry, guys. I'm not going to let the Tholians get him. He's all mine. I'm keeping him anchored here with me. But yeah, so we're working on French commands. Like I said, like last for stay and stuff like that. So we're working on it. He's only been here. We just did our 3-week anniversary yesterday. I've already got us signed up for BarkBox. I'm already doing some other stuff, but I would love to be able to take him on the cruise with me if I ever get back on the cruise, but he's blind. So I just have to be very careful, because I was thinking, people are like, the Rio, that's the thing about Vegas hotels. They are incredibly dog friendly, but I don't know if I want to put him on a plane. So, definitely not in the cargo hold, which means I would have to buy him a ticket because, the only way you can get a dog on a plane is if without paying for him or whatever, or like, it's like $100, but they have to fit under your seat. This 25-pound mass of muscle would never fit under a seat. I have enough times shoving my bags under a seat. He would need his own seat. He would absolutely need his own seat. Because I've heard horror stories. I would never put an animal on a cargo hold of a plane. There we go. I figured out how to get you to stop phasing. Now my arm's phasing. Just don't move. There you go. I had a German Shepherd named Nikita. Her commands were all in Elvish. Oh my God, that's awesome. That is so awesome. That is very cool. When we lived in Germany, the woman that lived, this is a great story. I love this story. Obviously, if it's a German dog, it's going to know German commands. But there was a woman that lived below us, and she had a little long-haired Dachshund. They have just started getting popular here. I never saw a long-haired Dachshund in the States until a few years back. But they do exist, and they are very cute. And my dad one day was going out, and the woman opened her apartment door, and Fritz ran out. And right before he got to the door that led out of the apartment building, she comes out and she yells, "Fritz, halt!" And that dog stopped on a freaking dime. Starfleet Blink dog. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, he's my little Starfleet Blinking dog. So that's very funny. I like that. And thank you for joining us. You look like a new name, so thank you for joining us. Very glad you're here. She was the last pet I had. She left. Oh, I'm so sorry, Uncle Hairball. Yeah, Anakin, my first dog, my pug, left a few years ago, and I didn't think I'd want another dog, but there's just something about that canine energy. I love my cats. I do. They're not real big fans of me right now. One of them's trapped in the bathroom, and the other ones are just trying to get used to having a dog in the house. A couple of them were here when Anakin was here, but not all of them, so they're all kind of adjusting to having the dog in the house. But a friend of mine just told me 3 months. 3 months is about when things should settle down. He's going to realize that he doesn't have anything to fear. Oh, well, I am so glad you found us. Thank you so much for joining us. Do you have a favorite doctor? What is it? Olam? I'm kind of back from my screen. Olam, is that how you pronounce your name? Who's your favorite doctor? I'd love to find out who is your favorite doctor, because that's what we're talking about. Ooh! See, and now this is what LeBeau likes to do. He likes to lay down all the time. In fact, I just woke him up from like his pre-bedtime nap. Oh, and see, this is why I can't work. Also, just call me Olive. Gotcha. I never thought anyone would have to say the screen name aloud when I made this account. Oh, got you. Fair enough. All right, Olive, thank you so much for joining us. We're so glad you're here. I am here every Monday Night Live. And follow me if you follow me. Are you serious? Your favorite doctor's Pulaski? I don't know. There's a little smile after that. I think that's a little silly, winky, smirky thing. But, I mean, we do not judge here. You are allowed to like or hate anything Star Trek, because there's just too much of it. It's not everything's going to appeal to everybody, Olive. And if Pulaski's your doctor, that's fine. But I just want to know if that is just being sarcastic, because the one thing I hate about chat, ever since chat became a thing, is sarcasm. There's no sarcasm button, and there needs to be a sarcasm button somewhere, because I am one of the most sarcastic people, especially when I chat with my friends, and I would just love for there to be like a sarcasm button somewhere. I would just love to be yes, good boy. And for those of you that don't know, LeBeau is named after one of my favorite actors, Robert Clary, who was in Hogan's Heroes, which is one of my favorite shows, which is where I've learned all of my bastardized German from. But Robert Clary played the French prisoner of war LeBeau, and he was also in Days of Our Lives when I was watching it when I was a kid. So I just thought that LeBeau was a great name for a French bulldog. Dave. I just thought he was going to be a French bulldog, then he needs to be named LeBeau. I had the name picked out before I had the dog picked out. I do like her a lot. She's probably no Bashir in some ways. Okay. Well, Pulaski. I just can't believe Pulaski got a vote now, and Kubler's the only one that didn't get a vote. Except Dave and I kind of are leaning towards Kubler. Yes, keyboard needs a sarcasm key. Absolutely. Something. We should invent one. I mean, we're all Trek geeks. We should invent a sarcasm key. Thanks, Dave. Yeah, I thought so. And I do actually have a personal connection with Robert Clary, because Wesley, you're from Land of the Lost, also worked on Days of Our Lives and worked with Robert. And I had asked him about Robert about I just got my glasses. I asked him about Robert a few years back, and he said he was just such an amazing human being. And then I read his autobiography, and he went through a lot as a French Jew. The name of the autobiography is Holocaust to Hogan's Heroes. And let's see if we can get Hogan's Heroes attached to Star Trek. Oh, gee, I know how to attach Hogan's Heroes to Star Trek. To Pring, the one and only Arlene Mattel, who is in everything that has anything to do with 60s television, was Tiger in Hogan's Heroes. She appeared in more than one episode. And she was T'Pring in TOS. So see, direct connection between Star Trek and Hogan's Heroes. And Hogan's Heroes and a bunch of other stuff. William Christopher from MASH was in a bunch of different episodes too. But yeah, so just and just to have my LeBeau having gone through what he went through with having to have his eyes removed, and so he knows tragedy that he is rebound from, the same way that Robert Clary rebuilt his life after the Holocaust. So I just thought it was perfect. And like I said, I had the name picked out before I had the dog picked out. In fact, I told Wesley when I saw him in Palm Springs, I'm like, by the way, I'm getting a French bulldog, I've decided, and his name's going to be LeBeau. But yeah, so Wesley was the first person, one of the first people that knew that this is what I was looking to do. So, and it took me, I mean, that was October, so it took me a while, but you know what, when you're adopting a pet, you definitely need to take the time and do the research, and don't believe every ad you see on Craigslist. Almost got scammed on Craigslist. Fortunately, my friend Wendy came through at the end. Something I didn't know that I want to pass on to all of you, because I did not know this. The only way to get refunded from PayPal is to do a business transaction. If you send money via friends and family and you don't get what you pay for, or you get scammed, you're not going to get the money back. I didn't know that. You have to do... Oh, Uncle Hairball, just don't blame me if you do it and then regret it. But yes, you definitely should. They're amazing, as you know. But somebody wanted a $50 deposit, and I was going to do it, and they were like, kept insisting, friends and family. And I said, no, I'm going to do it as the business thing. I said, but I'll tell you what, if you're worried about the fee, I figured out what the fee would be. I gave them the deposit above the fee. And they still flipped out, and they were rude, and they were saying that their sister's account, she couldn't do it that way. Anybody that's got a PayPal account can do a merchant sale deal. So that's when I knew that it was bullshit. So fortunately I got my $50 back, but I did actually talk to some legitimate people on Facebook, but you just have to be careful. But people on Facebook for some reason think that they're breeders and they can sell their adult dogs for what puppies go for. And I was on in the 90s had a bunch of Starfleet MASH characters. Wait. An old MU I was on in the 90s. Oh, okay. Not Olive, not 100%. Old MU I was on in the 90s had a bunch of Starfleet MASH characters. An old MU. MU's what's got me wondering. Anybody want to help out with an old MU? Sorry, Olive, I can't figure out what you're saying. Military. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I feel bad. That's the other thing about chat, is that when you don't understand something and then you're like, and then you gotta wait for somebody to let you know. It's okay. Ask anybody in the room. I've been told things where I'm just like, so. Oh, okay. All right. Well, Olive, I am so glad you found us, and you found us, in time for me to tell you that we're here every week. Gotcha. Role-playing games. Yeah, see, I didn't do a lot of, the only role-playing game I really got into one that I actually went to on, tried to get, was a Star Trek role-playing game that I played back in the 90s with some 80s. Late 80s, early 90s, I guess. Yeah, late 80s, early 90s. And I actually was a Caucasian. I always loved that. Always loved that. Love that species. But all right, guys, it is about that time. I've got a cat that is dying to get out of the bathroom. I've got a dog that is interested in getting down. Just, you know what, Olive? Just smash that bell. Smash the like button, click the bell, all that fun stuff, and you'll get notified. But yeah, live every Monday night, unless otherwise noted, now through at least half of May. Can't believe it's going to be March on Saturday. I had to make an appointment. I'm like, oh God, it's not till March 1st. And I'm like, shit, March 1st is Saturday. Daylight savings time is coming up. March 9th, which I'm very excited about. But anyway, yep, we are live. Follow me on the socials and you'll always know, because I almost never know what I'm doing from week to week. I am working on getting some more guests. John Billingsley still owes me an appearance, and we're working on that. But it's just he's been busy. I'm not sure I can tell you what he's been up to, but some really exciting stuff. So I definitely want to have him on, because if he can tell you, I want him to tell you what he's up to. Yeah, I know, ridiculous, right? Spank that like button like a bag of potting soil at a Lowe's. Oh, that's funny. I like that. Spank that button like a pot of Lowe's. Guys, as always, thank you so much. I am always thankful to have you guys here. I love having you here. I love doing this whole thing. And I hope you noticed my little mashup, my Galactic basketball jersey and my NX7062 hat. Maybe next week I won't be having such a bad hair day and I'll actually not wear the hat with the headphones. Anyway, guys, as always, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate you. And I can't wait to see you next week. Olive, please do keep an eye out. Do join us next week. And until then, y'all, live long and prosper.
Hey, this is Connor Turner. You've been listening to the NX7062 podcast with Stephanie. Enjoy your evening.